Oh boy, coming off the heels of the 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro selling out, I find this news even more interesting. Something that, if you guys have been watching my videos, I had been saying that I expect the PlayStation 5 Pro to do exceedingly well, even with all the vitriol online. And it looks like that is the case because in the UK, obviously the data is limited as far as what we have access to, but in the UK, the PlayStation 5 Pro, not the 30th anniversary, that has obviously sold out, but that was gonna sell out with only 12,300 units being manufactured. The PlayStation 5 Pro is completely sold out in the UK, so a lot to talk about, and I feel like if you watch our content and a lot of our coverage of the PlayStation 5 Pro, you probably heard me be a little bit down on the console, being it's $700, no disk drive, so on and so forth, and then you also heard me say that the console, I believe that it's going to immediately sell out, or at the very least, it's gonna do very well. A lot of people seem to be confused because I got a lot of comments from multiple people, the people that are picking up a PS5 Pro saying that I was crapping on it too much, and then the people that were hating on the console saying that I was being way too positive on it. The PlayStation 5 Pro coverage that we've uploaded on this channel, I will be transparent with you guys, is some of the most controversial videos that we have ever uploaded. The comment section was crazy, like it was wild to see, and I feel like a lot of people were not interpreting what I was saying in the videos, and I think this is always an issue when you look at stuff like social media data, a lot of dislikes on videos. Data is always helpful. When you have a bunch of numbers and you can see what people are saying, especially in the social media era, having the immediacy to that data, that's great. To have that, it is great, but it ultimately comes down to how you interpret the data, and I feel like the people that realized what the PlayStation 5 Pro, this isn't all that surprising to them. And why is that? That is because this is a console that is designed for a small percentage of people. That's why, overall, I didn't bug out about the price point nearly as much as everyone else. I didn't say crazy things like this is the end of the console space, this is the end of console gaming, because that was a nonsensical take. Now, what this could be based on the PlayStation 5 Pro seemingly doing fairly well based on the numbers we have so far, this could be a harbinger of things to come for next generation and next generation price points, but that's a topic that we'll talk about in 2027, 2028. I don't think that's relevant right now. Look, the PlayStation 5 base console still exists. The PlayStation 5 Pro is for your absolute hardcore consumer, the people that are super invested into PlayStation. They're gonna pick up the PS5 Pro, and you look at the performance that we're hearing: Stellar Blade, 4K 60 FPS, FF7 Rebirth, 4K 60 FPS. Yes, this is utilizing PSSR, the new AI upscaling technology, but it looks like PSSR is pretty damn good, and if you're managing 4K visual output and it looks damn good, and you're getting 60 frames per second, baby, sign me up. That's great for the people that are gonna be interested in it. And it was always gonna do fairly well. And if you look at the PlayStation 4 Pro versus regular PS4, PS4 Pro made up about 15% of the consumer base for the PlayStation 4, the overall consumer base. I imagine the PS5 Pro is gonna be very similar, where it's 15%. This is a console that everybody has had their opinion on. Guess what it also was? It was never a console that was designed for everyone. It was never going to be a console that was targeted for your average consumer. Sony knew this, so they charged $700. This is basic economics, where they realized that there's a percentage of the audience that's going to be interested in a console like this. Let's get as much money out of them as possible, especially in a market where they don't have any competition. The people that are interested in a console like this, they're going to buy a console like this, and it's going to do very, very well. And there was so much debate about building a PC for the same price point. Yeah, good luck building a PC at $700 to do this kind of performance. Now, if you want to add things like, oh, you're paying for PlayStation Plus and all this other stuff, yeah, over time, PC gaming is great. PC gaming can offer you a lot of value. I will always be on that side. However, it's always going to be an apples and oranges comparison, and I think if you're looking for the best performance, gaming is something that we spend so much time on that a $700 investment to a lot of people, enough people where Sony can price it at $700, which was always going to be the main factor. $700 to enough people was not going to be enough money or a high enough price point to push them away from checking bringing out the PS5 Pro. What I do argue is some of that regional pricing is wild, but, you know, it is what it is. I always had a feeling that this console was going to do exceedingly well, and there's a lot of times where you do have to look at the vitriol, the pushback online, and if this was a case that the PlayStation 5 Pro was the standard console and this wasn't a console designed for a small percentage of people, I think you would have a very good argument to be made. However, given that this console was targeted for an audience that are super invested into PlayStation, it wasn't, I don't believe, to draw new people into the PlayStation ecosystem. It was a product put out for your hardcore audience that wants the best performance possible. Given that it's a mid-generation upgrade, it was always going to do fairly well because the expectation was never that it was going to be this console that everybody picks up. And that is the issue when you look at social media metrics and likes versus dislikes and everything regarding the PS5 Pro online. A large portion of those people that were discussing it online were never going to buy a mid-gen upgrade. I get it that there was an audience of people where the price pushed them away, and that is totally valid, that is totally fair for the price point to be too high. I agree, $700 without a disc drive is kind of insane to me. I think, you know, $600 for a digital version of the console, $650 for, you know, the disc drive included, I think that would have been perfect. However, that was not the case, and I still believe that because of the way a console like this is catered for, it's still gonna do very well because it's targeted for a small percentage of people. There's enough people that have the disposable income and are at a place in their life where they can drop $700, or they deem gaming to be a valuable element of their life, where $700 is not going to be something that pushes them away from getting the best console-oriented experience, that it's going to do fairly well. Again, if this was the standard console, if this was the only option, I would have bugged out a lot harder, but this is something that's designed for your more hardcore audience. You still have the base console, and that's why you'll hear me bug out a lot more over a $5 increase on the DualSense controller than you will on the PS5 Pro console, because the $5 increase on the DualSense controller is applicable to everybody. Everybody needs a controller, or they might need a second controller. I'll bug out over things like PlayStation Plus Extra going up in price and getting worse because that's a subscription service that's targeted for everybody. That's what I bug out about. I'm not gonna bug out as much about a console that's designed for a small percentage of people, and this is why they can price something like this so high, because for that small percentage of people, they're gonna have the money, or they're gonna deem it to be value-oriented enough for them, and they're gonna buy it. And you look at it outside of the disc drive being included, for the performance that the PS5 Pro is going to offer in some of the games we know about, for a lot of people, that's going to be well worth the $700. The limitation factor obviously is the CPU. That is going to be the limiting instance. But FF7 Rebirth, running the way that it does, looking the way that it does, that's impressive. Is it $700 impressive? That's for each individual to decide, and for me to immediately label it as, oh, it's not worth it. Okay, it might not be worth it to X person, but it might be worth it to Y person, and there are enough Y persons out there, Y people out there, that it is worth it to, and it's gonna sell out. It's gonna do very well. I think this was always gonna be the situation, but yeah, that has been validated, and that thought process that I've reiterated in so many videos, that has been validated with how the Pro is doing. Again, the 30th anniversary, obviously gonna sell out. That wasn't the interesting element to it. Sure, looking at Scalper prices, all that stuff, it's interesting to an extent. The Pro is a console that much more people, still a limited amount of people in the overall PlayStation community, but a much larger amount of people were going to check out, and the fact that this is doing so well, far more interesting than a collector's item that's going to get scalped to the high heavens doing fairly well. Let me also add, and you're an absolute sucker if you go on eBay, even though the Pro is sold out, and it's going to be sold out in a lot of places. Look, the eBay price point's $1,000. What do you mean it's almost gone? 15 sold already? I'm sorry, I just updated the page on eBay. How have 15 people spent $1,000 on the PS5 Pro? Brothers, what are y'all doing? Do not, okay guys, do not spend these scalper prices. Good heavens, do not be spending that. $1,100, $1,000, don't be spending these prices. It's $700, and I get it. Like, if you want to make a profit by selling it on eBay, given the eBay cut, shipping, and everything like that, I don't know what the base price would have to be, I would imagine $850, right? Like $800 to $850 to actually make a profit off scalping the regular Pro. This is the regular Pro, not the 30th anniversary. The fact that this is being scalped and it's selling out, that's a little insane to me, but I wouldn't be paying scalp prices for this. Like with the PS5 Pro anniversary, like it is what it is. There's 12,000 units manufactured, like GG no re, but with the PS5 Pro, like come on now, don't be spending $1,000 on this. But yeah, I did expect this console to do very well. I didn't think it was going to be a scalper's paradise, and it's not a scalper's paradise as far as looking at it. Remember what I said in the 30th anniversary video. Generally how this works is scalpers buy it up, they relist it, they'll have it at this $1,000 price point, but then the market will settle somewhere. What makes me concerned is the fact that 15 of those PS5 Pros at $1,040 have already been sold. That is a little concerning. Come on, guys, like, don't be doing that unless, I mean, you desperately want a PS5 Pro, but that just kind of goes to show that that $700 price tag, like, y'all, the market's deciding right now. That ultimately is what it comes down to. The market is deciding. Free economy, all that stuff. I'm not an economics major, but I can understand it at a baseline level to know that the $700 price tag was never going to be that big of an issue in this scenario with everything I've outlined already. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm sure this video will be a little bit controversial, but now that we're getting some of these numbers, I do find this more interesting to talk about. But your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.